over was something that was completely foreign to me. The idea of a big girl job was something that I really didn't have planned for myself. I dropped out of college at 19, and here I am years later at the age of 24 with 3 kids and a dream that I want to pursue. I've spent the last few years pursuing a bunch of different placeholder careers or jobs, and nothing ever seemed to fill that void of purpose outside of being a mom, outside of being a stay-at-home mom for that. And I really feel ready now to make that step to move on to a big girl job. So as of now, I am officially back in college. I'm no longer a dropout, I am a college student. I'm finally able to hit reset. So, bienvenidos a Simplemente Ashlyn. Welcome to Simply Ashlyn. If you were to look at my resume, you would be probably overwhelmed and confused. I have had a ton of jobs in the past 6 years because I bounced back and forth from being a stay-at-home mom to trying to make a living and trying to find something that felt purposeful and gave me a little bit of my humanity back. Anybody that's a stay-at-home mom or dad or just a parent in general knows how overwhelming it can be to stay at home and not get a ton of outside involvement. These jobs didn't just help financially, but they also helped build the foundation for what I really want in life. I have been a doula for the past 2 years, and so I have gotten hands-on experience with being in the medical field that isn't... Never mind. I got hands-on experience that wasn't just being behind a desk taking intake forms or anything like that. I got that hands-on experience that honestly was so awesome. And after getting that experience, it really shaped my desire to go forward with where I'm at today, which is pursuing a nursing career. The truth is, I dropped out of college because I was having a baby, and pursuing a career while raising a child at that age seemed impossible. And I truly give props to people who have gone through school while being pregnant or while raising a newborn, or honestly while raising kids. It is such a marathon to do and requires so much patience, so much time management, which I suck at, but it requires such a strong person to do that. And at the time, that just seemed too intimidating for me, so I dropped out. While I felt like I was ahead of everybody by starting my family super young, I also felt behind in a lot of ways that everybody my age was pursuing a career and I was pursuing motherhood. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I have enjoyed every moment of doing that. But I also have to think long term. What happens when I'm no longer a stay-at-home mom? What happens when my children are no longer living in the house and are going to school on a daily basis? We've tried the homeschooling thing and it worked until it didn't. And we have just made a decision as a family that we're going to put them in school. And we can be just as influential and just as impactful in their education by being active parents when they get home from school and making sure that we value their education just as much here at the house while we send them to school. So in a lot of ways, I felt so behind and so ahead at the same time and just felt stuck in the middle. If you're a dropout or relate in any way, I hope that you join me on this journey because I really do want to document every aspect of that. I also want you to know that those years in placeholder jobs or as a stay-at-home parent or as somebody in a career not wanting to start their family until they were stable, you're not a failure and there's plenty of time to get these things done. You just have to take that step. You're not a failure, you're not behind, you're right where you need to be. And those aspects and times and jobs and all of those experiences were learning opportunities for you to take something from those jobs, take something from those experiences and apply them in the future to things that matter more. And I hope that you can understand that and that I don't view myself as a failure, that I just view myself as somebody who's learning in a different way than the mainstream people are. Looking back at those placeholder jobs, I truly can understand how they helped shape who I am today, even if they were insignificant in the grand scheme of things or in the long run, or felt like they were at the time. Those jobs helped guide a lot of my ideologies and kind of refined what field I wanted to go into. It taught me how to manage a household while also learning different aspects of how to be a good communicator and, you know, how to balance all of these things. And so I don't want you guys to think of them as a speed bump, but rather as a different course to learning and to shaping who you are today. My husband and I feel like we're in a good place financially, emotionally, you know, location wise, to be able for me to pursue this big step in my life. And it's taken a long time for us to get here because I've always had a drive and a desire to do something along these lines. I have loved the medical field and have really always wanted to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form. At one point I thought I was going to be a teacher because I truly love children, but I realized that with the nursing career I can have a relationship with these children in an aspect and in a way that truly fits the vocation that I feel like I have. I want this channel to be simplemente, simple and real. I don't want to be inauthentic or highly processed or highly produced, to where you lose the realness of who I am and who you are perceiving me as. Obviously, there's things going on in the background. Those are my kids. You know, it's gonna happen. I'm not gonna wait until 2 a.m. to record a video so that there's no interruptions, because that's not real life. And I wanted this channel to be made because I enjoy seeing real people, real life. And I want you guys to see that too. I want you guys to see the raw and the real. And I want to be an outlet for people who want to feel seen. And I'm not going to wait until the scenarios are perfect. I'm not going to wait until the timing is always right, because the timing will never be right. And I don't have time to do that with everything that I'm anticipating doing throughout the day. My house is usually very loud and there's always a mess that I'm following around trying to clean up. And that's just the reality of being a mom. That's just the reality of having young kids. And I'm gonna miss it one day and I won't have anything to clean, and that's gonna be sad. But I also want to make people feel comfortable in that mess and know that there are ways that you can manage stress and find peace while everything around you feels chaotic. And so I'm not going to try and overproduce my videos or have the perfect sound setup or camera setup. I'm literally recording this on my phone in my kitchen, and I'm not going to cut out a lot of stuff. Obviously there's cuts in this, but that's because I'm taking multiple breaks to try and take care of my baby and my kids. But other than that, I want to be real and authentic with you guys, because that's what I want to see. That's the content that I want to consume. And if you're watching this, I hope that's the content that you come to seek, because that's the content that I'm attempting to make for you guys. And this life is not perfect by any means. It's not a Pinterest board. It's not the perfect influencer that you see on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. This is real life, and my goal is to make you guys see that it's okay to be real. So since we're in kind of that stable place, I want to take you guys with me on my journey, specifically on my family's journey of homesteading, bicultural, bilingual, gardening, cooking, using our bicultural aspects and how we're raising kids like that, tips and tricks, a little bit of crunchy stuff, because I do consider myself a tiny bit crunchy. I like to read food labels and product labels, but I also really love a cherry Pepsi and Hostess donuts. But I don't want this to become a channel that is so obsessed with aesthetics, because it's not attainable for a lot of people. And I want you to realize that you can have a meaningful and filling life without all of the perfection aspect of that. I am definitely not a perfect mom by any means. I'm definitely not a perfect wife by any means. I'm not perfect anything by any means. And I want to take you guys along on that journey so that you guys can see what a real person looks like. And I also want to build a community where I can say something and get a ton of advice from you guys. If I am having trouble growing my tomatoes this year for some reason, I want advice from people that have gone through the same thing or have prevented that thing from happening. I want to share that I'm having an issue with my style or like looking a certain way, and I want advice from you guys. And I hope that this becomes a circle of community and just communication and just a place that feels welcoming for the good, the bad, the ugly, the exhausted, and just becomes a place of realness. So I will hopefully be making a couple videos a month to kind of teach you guys a couple of different things. And then next couple of videos I'm going to explain how I learned Spanish, a couple of different things about what I'm planting in my garden this year, if I can get the garden up, and just a couple of other things about raising bilingual children. So if you want to join me for that, go ahead and subscribe, and that way you can make sure you don't miss it. Gracias por estar aquí. Thank you guys. Love you. Bye.